It has finally happened. We have our head coach. What is up, Finn fans? It took forever. It absolutely took forever, but the Miami Dolphins have finally hired their head coach, and it is Mike McDaniel. So we got our head coach now. I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about my thoughts of him, his history, the tree he's coming from under Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, and all that good stuff. So we're going to jump into this. Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator, run game coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. People, who called the plays for San Fran? Was it Kyle? Was it Mike? Was it Kyle? Was it Mike? It was both. It was both of them. Do I like this move? Before we jump into anything, do I like this move? Obviously, you guys know how I feel. I wanted to get experience. I wanted to go with Dan Quinn. I want to go with Doug Peterson. I want to go with Jim Harbaugh. I wanted to go with Jim Caldwell. I wanted that guy who's been to the Super Bowl, been to the top of the mountain, and knows how to get back there. But also, I was not against it. For the first-timers in experience, I had Dable, I had this guy, and I think I had Kalen Moore. Yes, I think I had Kalen Moore. So I'm not upset with this signing. But again, after a lot of what has happened this past 3 years, I am bringing down my expectations. And I'll talk about that after we go into more detail on exactly who Mike McDaniel is. So Mike McDaniel, he is 38 years old. He started as an intern with the Denver Broncos in 2005. Then he was offensive assistant with the Houston Texans 2006, 2008. Went to Sacramento Mountain Lions, running back coach there. Came back into the NFL, was a Washington Redskins offensive assistant from 2011 to 2012. Then in 2013, under Washington, he was the wide receivers coach. Now, that 2013 Washington football team, the Commanders now I think they're called, had ridiculous head coaches. The offensive coordinator on that 2013 team was Kyle Shanahan, defensive coordinator Jim Haslett, quarterbacks coach Matt LaFleur, tight ends coach Sean McVay, and secondary coach Raheem Morris. So that 2013 Washington football team under Mike Shanahan had some very, very good coaches, right? Then he goes to Cleveland as a wide receiver coach in 2014. And then when Kyle Shanahan becomes the offensive coordinator, offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, he brings Mike McDaniels with him. And then when Kyle Shanahan becomes the head coach of the 49ers in 2017, he brings him as the run game coordinator. And then this past season, he gets promoted to offensive coordinator. And that is a little bit of brief history of who the flip Mike McDaniel is. Now, I'm hearing rave reviews from Mike McDaniel. I'm hearing how smart he is. I'm hearing how well he commands a team. I'm hearing how the players back him, the players fight for him. I'm hearing all these really, really good things about Mike McDaniel, not only from his coaches, but also from his players that played with him in Washington, when he was a wide receivers coach, played with him all throughout his career. I'm hearing very, very good things from the players. And that is what's very important when it comes to a head coach. The next thing that I'm going to be very critical of is the next step in this process. Now, I think tomorrow they'll have the press conference. I'll make a video tomorrow talking about the press conference and all that stuff. But who are his DC, his OC? Are they going to keep the defensive side that the rumors said that they're going to do? What is the thought process in that? But again, here's my thought process on Mike McDaniel. When we got Adam Gase, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Adam Gase, he did really well in Denver, yada yada." But obviously, it had to do with Peyton Manning. We bring in Brian Flores. He did very well in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and then that's when we hired him. And great move by the Dolphins. Great on defense. Had a hard time with the offensive side of the ball. Had a hard time putting together a good offensive staff. Had a hard time keeping his staff together and being consistent. Mike McDaniel, I was very high on Gase when we got him, and I was very high on Flores when we got him. Now with Mike McDaniel, I'm doing a wait and see. I'm not anymore going to be high on these coaches. I'm not anymore going to have high expectations on these coaches. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to see. He's young, 38. I want to see how he does. I want to see the style of offense he brings. I want to see if he is going to stick with Tua, because there are those rumors out there that his first Zoom meeting, the first interview, was like 3 hours or so, and he was so good and the interview was so well done that the Dolphins waited this long to get that second interview with him, which happened on Friday. And apparently he hit it out of the park because he's now the Dolphins head coach. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. And there's that rumor out there that he talked about what he's going to install on the offense and what he's going to do to make Tua better. Now, is that still a thing? If Deshaun Watson becomes available, all of a sudden the three of them are going to get together and be like, are we going to make this move or yada, yada? So again, a lot of what I'm going to do with Mike McDaniel now, and I learned my lesson, is I'm going to wait and see. Who's the DC? Who's the OC? Who are you bringing in free agency? Are you going to be more aggressive than Brian Flores was? Are you going to be more installing veteran leadership as well as building through youth? Because that was Brian Flores' biggest downfall, is he wanted young, and didn't have the vets, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm very interested to see what Mike McDaniel does there. But don't get me wrong, I'm no excuses, because I think, now this is my opinion, again, most of what I do on this channel is my opinion. You can take it and throw it in the garbage for all I care. But I think this team is talented. I think you add a few pieces on the offensive line. You add a few wide receivers. I even think having Duke Johnson and Philip Lindsay back there still would really have a really good running game, especially under Mike McDaniel, what we've seen him do. But I think this team is still talented. I do think this team is still talented, and I think under the right coaching and the right moves, this team can still be that 10-6, or now it's 10-7, 11-6 type team. So no, I don't expect a regression this year. I don't expect, they go 5-12. Well, it's the first year for Mike McDaniel, he blah 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 blah. No, that's not going to be my mentality. Now, I'm not going into this year thinking they're going to win the division. They're going to have a deep run. We got a different head. No. But I do expect some type of success, because this team, in my mind, again, you might think I'm dead wrong and I'm an idiot, is talented. I do think this team is talented, and I do think that if you put the right coaching in the right position, offensive line coach, wide receiver coach, offensive coordinator, defensive, whatever. Like when we had Casey Rogers, we had one of the best defensive line fronts, getting them one of the most sacked and all of this stuff. And all of a sudden Casey Rogers is with Tampa, and they're doing that. Like, coaches, it's imperative. Look how bad our offensive line was, and had a lot to do with we had a first-time offensive line coach. So that's my thought process on Mike McDaniel. I'm hearing raved reviews. I'm hearing great things about him, not only from beat writers, not only from reporters, coaches, his ex-coaches, his ex-players. I'm hearing very good things. I'm hearing he's really smart. He's innovative. He's with the times, all this stuff. So show me. Show me that you can install something here that can take this team from having a horrible offense to being really good. If you're going to stick with Tua, show me that you know how to make him better, because he needs to be more consistent. He needs to trust himself. He needs to have better footwork and throwing. There's the things that he does well, but then there's also things that he needs to do better. Get that out of him. Let's see what you can do as a head coach now. You're getting your shot. You went from being a first-time offensive coordinator to a first-time head coach. Show us, the fans, that this wasn't a mistake going after you versus going after somebody with more experience like Doug Peterson or Jim Harbaugh, which, we hear rumors about the whole Jim Harbaugh situation. We'll see how. We don't know the truth on that. But yeah, man, we got our head coach. The next thing is, like I said, I think tomorrow will be his press conference. It's 6:30 now. I doubt they'll do a press conference now. If they do a press conference, I'll break it down later. I just want to get you guys the news real quick that we finally got our head coach. But that's the next thing. Press conference. I'm going to really look into that, hear what they have to say. If they talk about the power, who has power, where, is Greer going to take all the power back, or is he still going to have power over the 53-man roster who comes in? There's a lot that I'm going to be interested in with that press conference and what the dynamic is going to be between him and Greer. And then after that, we're going to start talking about free agency. But, press conference, then who are the DC, the OC? We'll talk about potential additions there, potential who, and then we're going to go into free agency, who cut, who we're going to resign, who we should target. This was a domino. I needed this domino to fall, and now all of a sudden, boom, we're going to be running off with a ton of content, a ton of videos, a ton of stuff. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Go follow me on Twitter. I already broke this on Twitter. I have to come here, sit down, record this, edit it, and then upload it. But yeah, we got our coach. I'm happy with this. Am I ecstatic? Am I thinking we won? Oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread? No. But we need to realize something, right? Mike McDaniel, first-time offensive coordinator. Oh, man, he's going to suck, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people like Brian Flores. For the guys who like Brian Flores, who thinks we shouldn't have fired him, he was a first-time DC, and we hired him right after that. Look at John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, special teams coach. Look at what he's doing. Look at McVay. Look at Matt LaFleur. Look at all these guys who have coached with him and where they are now. One of them's in the Super Bowl. One of them went to 2 Super Bowls. Yes, he lost the other one, and we'll see what he does with this one. You have LaFleur thriving with Green Bay. Is that because of Aaron Rodgers? So the tree that he's coming from is promising. I'm happy it's not a Bill Belichick tree anymore. That can go rot in a desert. I don't care about that anymore. It's promising. So we'll see. The only thing I ask for you is don't come to any jump decisions. Don't come to any jump conclusions when the guy hasn't even address the team yet. So we'll see how this pans out, and we'll see. But other than that, guys, I'll see you either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when the press conference happens. And then I got so much content for you. So much content. So other than that, guys, we got our coach. Let's move forward and let's win some games. Like usual, stay classy. Offense up.